Hello, Mr. Freney, Mr. Linhares.
Hello.
This is PPSN, which is our first take for today. So, I have a question for you. Who do you have as the top contenders for the NBA championship this season? Mr. Freney, we can start with you.
And it's very simple. Cavaliers are the best team in the NBA. Okay, like just look at what they did. I mean, they have Kyrie, who's looking like a complete all-star. He's better than he was last year. If you actually watched the finals last year, you realize just that Kyrie to me is just as good as Steph. And yes, that's crazy to be said, but that's just the reality to me. Kyrie can do it all. He's a more versatile player. He doesn't rely on a three-point shooting night. And they have LeBron, and it's just LeBron carried the team. He did that in the NBA championship. I think Kevin Love's gotten even better than he was. I think they have depth this year. I just think the Cavs are the team to beat. And yes, I think Kevin Durant was a good addition, but I still think the Cavs.
I gotta really disagree with you there. I think the Cavs are a great team. I'll argue with you about that. They have LeBron James, probably the best player in the NBA. Kyrie, I would maybe even agree he's playing as well as Steph. He probably in his lifetime will be better than Steph Curry. Like, he's a great player. And they've got Shumpert. They've got a lot of great guys on the bench. And they've been such a mess lately. They lost last night. They have J.R. Smith, who's literally...
We're talking about the regular season.
It doesn't matter. They're playing awfully. They have players running off the court.
This is December. When does the NBA start, my friend?
Playoffs.
After the All-Star break.
Yeah.
It doesn't start. Okay? These teams are resting. Everybody plays kind of sloppy. They're figuring out lineups. They're figuring out rotations. Coaches have different rotations for each part of the season. They're mixing stuff up. They're trying to build a championship team. Who do I want? Who do I want taking the last shot? Who do I think is going to be there at the end? And it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers road to the finals is just much easier. I think the best team they're going to have to play is Toronto. I truly believe that the Spurs or the Clippers will give the Warriors the money.
The Warriors roster is just too good this year. It's just too good. And you're right. Maybe it doesn't start till after All-Star weekend. It's just giving the Warriors even more time. They lost their first game of the season. And everyone was like, what's all the hype about? They're not playing well. They're on a 15-game win streak.
But if they have to play the Clippers in the 7th game, if they have to go to San Antonio and play the Spurs, and the Spurs are a really good basketball team. Kawhi Leonard's playing just as better than he has in his entire career. I mean, there's a reason why. I mean, they still have like Tony Parker. They still have all these guys that are essential to the Spurs. The Spurs are the most dominant basketball team since the 2000s, and there's a reason for that. They have the best coach in the NBA, and that's Greg Popovich. And I think Greg Popovich will be able to shut down somebody like Kevin Durant with Kawhi. I think they have that ability. And I think the Warriors are going to have to face so many hard tests going before they even get to the finals. I think the Cavs road is that much easier. People thought Boston was going to be that good. I don't think Boston's that good. Like, I'm sorry.
They don't have to shut down just Kevin Durant. They don't have to shut down just Steph Curry. They have to shut down Draymond Green. They have to shut down Klay Thompson. 2 other All-Stars up the team. 4 All-Stars on the team. You can't focus. You can shut down 2 of our players. We still have 2 All-Stars.
I mean that's a valid point, but we saw what LeBron could do. I mean, look what the Cavs did. They were able to they essentially got rid of Steph in last year's finals. That slowed it. The Warriors won. I think Kevin Durant. Yes, there's a different piece of it, but the Warriors won through Stephen Curry, and the Cavs were able to do something that no other team had done in a long time, and that was simply shut down Steph.
All right. Calm down a little bit. So, switching topics. Should conference championships determine who is in the college football playoffs?
Let's Monroe.
Can I have my special guest Monroe come in?
Yes, thank you, Burke.
See you back in a few questions.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Nice
So great. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, I will repeat the question. Should conference championships determine who is in the college football playoffs?
No. The answer, and it's just that simple. I want the best 4 teams. If you win the ACC, do I really care? I mean, I don't think the ACC has that many good teams. Yes, Louisville had a good year. Yes, I think Clemson deserves this year, because to me, Clemson is one of the best 4 teams. But I don't think winning the ACC in an average year should give you an advantage over a Michigan, for instance, this year, who went out there and they beat their competition. And they destroyed their competition. The 2 best teams in the Big Ten are not playing in their conference championship this week.
Yeah, to an extent I agree, but I think, and in peculiar circumstances such as the Big Ten, that holds very, very true. But I also think in cases such as the Pac-12 this year, if Washington is to lose, that is putting them at a disadvantage where they shouldn't actually deserve to be going any further if they cannot beat the competition in the Pac-12. I think it is more of a contingency on which conference they're in, because then in the SEC it's never really an issue, because the best team usually always wins the SEC, and the SEC is usually the most dominant conference in college football. And I think that winning the conference championship really solidifies your prowess in the conference. I think it varies conference to conference where strength is given or taken, but that's where I think it's pretty essential to display your dominance in your conference.
I think you also just have to look at the strength of the conference. I think there's some conferences, like you said, the SEC. To me, there's years, a few, maybe not in recent history, like going 5 years back, where I think the SEC had 3 of the best 4 teams. And if those are the best 3 of the best 4 teams are in one conference that season, they deserve to go to the college football national championship. There's no denying that. I just don't think the conference championship matters because of we have a long regular season. You have a tough schedule. College football, we have so much emphasis on the regular season. That's why I like it. But if like in the Pac-12, personally, I don't think Washington deserves a spot in the Final Four. And because they're going to win tonight, if they win tonight, most people will have Washington in the Final Four. When personally, I think a Michigan team is a lot better. I think an Ohio State is a lot better. But they're going to have an advantage just because they were able to play in that game.
I agree. It's a tough question to be asked, because I think when you ask so much of a team, when you ask so much of Washington, they were able to play and dominate pretty much anybody they were put up against. And I think that's the nature of the beast with being in a conference that's not that powerful. But
they still lost USC.
Right. It has to be given the teams that they were given. They had to be given the credit that's due. They did beat the teams that they were given, but I agree that their conference is not very difficult, and I'd agree that they are not one of the better teams. They don't deserve to be in the.
But you're always saying that because they were playing at conference championships, that they do have an advantage over Michigan. And
they do.
And I can fundamentally disagree with that argument, because I think a team like Michigan that literally lost to Ohio State because of bad refereeing calls. If you watch the game, poor refereeing calls determined. That team deserves, if they are that much better than Washington, they deserve to go there.
All right. Mr. Gray, thank you for your time on the show.
Pleasure.
Mr. Linhares, we can come back. A couple other questions for you. So, bringing you back to the NBA. If you could start an NBA team with any player, who would it be? Mr. Linhares, shall we start with you?
As of right now, I'd have to go with Russell Westbrook. Undeniably, he averages a triple-double this season, and he doesn't have a lot of talent around him. He really doesn't. They're winning games, they're losing some, they're winning some. But him with talent around him, if I had to start a team and draft around him, it would be around Russell Westbrook.
Mr. Freney?
I think Russell Westbrook's a great player. For the sake of this argument, I'm going to have to disagree with this. And it's LeBron James. LeBron James might be old, he might be rugged, but LeBron James is still one of the best. He has the most championships. When I'm thinking about starting a team, I'm thinking about, don't get me wrong, Russell Westbrook has the potential to be very good for a long period of time. But when you want to build a center team, I want leaders. And personally, I think Russell Westbrook's a great player. But I haven't seen the leadership qualities that I look for in NBA greats in him. Yes, I think this season we've seen him take off without Kevin Durant. And if you're building a team, him and Kevin Durant struggled to play with each other last season. There's a reason why Kevin Durant is not in Oklahoma City today. You know why that is? Because Russell Westbrook doesn't play well with other superstars. LeBron has shown ability throughout the career that he gets guys like Kevin Love or Dwayne Wade that are superstars in their own rights, and he enhances their game. Russell Westbrook is an I need the ball kind of guy. He reminds me a lot of Kobe Bryant.
Any response back to Mr. Freney's strong
I have to
statement?
say that I agree with LeBron James, which is probably the best player in the NBA. He's old. I know you want to, if you're starting a team or something, you have to be able to build. I don't think we'd be able to build LeBron for that much longer. He's just getting so old. And I think that LeBron in the championship games, and LeBron in the championship games becomes an I need the ball kind of guy too. He would take the ball and he's the only player to score points.
Because Kyrie didn't have average 3 points in last year's NBA Finals.
He averaged 3 points because LeBron's the I need the ball kind of guy.
No, because he was able to dishes to Kyrie on the 3-point line. Kyrie was able to hit 3-pointers, and them together were able to work together and create a basketball and create a win and create a championship win. That's what they were able to do. LeBron has the ability, unlike Russ, who can put up crazy assists. I think his assist numbers sometimes go bananas because he's just there's not even an assist and to me really being a facilitator. Russell Westbrook is a great passer. I don't know if he's a great facilitator. LeBron James is a great facilitator. He's able to get guys that are good players and make them great. And he's able to transform their game. When he got Chris Bosh played more of a 5 and a 4. When they ended in Miami, when LeBron James left Miami, Chris Bosh could go out to the 3-point line and shoot a 3. He wasn't able to do that when he was on the Raptors because LeBron James is able to change the way the guys play around him. And I don't think Russell Westbrook has that ability. Yes, I think you're right. LeBron James is on the older side, upper end of his career. There's no denying that. But personally, I still think if he takes care of himself and he's not too overplayed, I still think he has some very good few seasons coming up. I think that's why I think the Cavs are going to win the championship this year. Why? Because I think LeBron is that good of a player.
All right. Okay, Mr.
I think that the Cavaliers organization, since LeBron came to Cleveland, they already had Kyrie. LeBron is surrounded by talent. He has Kevin Love, who is an all-star.
But I'm not
If you put Westbrook in the Cavaliers scheme, we don't know if
he had Russell Westbrook with a superstar and they didn't get along.
they were not together for.
They were together for the entire career until this year.
He was so injury prone. Russell
They got to the NBA Finals and they still couldn't play together. They struggled with chemistry. When LeBron plays with a superstar, he makes that superstar better. Russell Westbrook needs the ball in his hands 24/7. There's a reason why he reminds me a lot of Kobe. He's a great player. I think he's up there. If I had to choose a number 3 or 4, I'd probably go with Russell Westbrook. But I still don't know if Russell Westbrook can get along with other guys that have this kind of talent. And I think to win championships, you need to be able to have some camaraderie with people that are just as good as you or even better than you. And him and KD struggled. There's a reason why Kevin Durant is not in Oklahoma City today.
And the exact reason Kevin Durant is not in Oklahoma City is because he was so injury prone. That Russell Westbrook had to learn to play without KD. It's not easy to get all the spotlight back and learn to play and lead a whole team and have someone else try to eat. It's just not easy. It's not easy. The Cavaliers are surrounded by a bunch of superstars. Russell Westbrook is surrounded by no one right now.
Because he couldn't, when he had superstars, they couldn't play together. It's come on.
We're saying the same thing a couple times now.
All right.
So let's move on to our final question. Mr. Freney, will begin with you. Who would you say is the biggest team boss in the NFL?
I really said it was the New York Jets. I do think the New York Jets are one of them. But to me, it's very simple. Cam Newton, come on, man. I'm just I expected more. I thought the defense would be better. I think sometimes when you're in the Super Bowl, you either come back with vengeance or you fall on your face and go to sleep. And that's what the Panthers did. They went to bed. They obviously were disappointed. They probably got pretty emotionally sad. I mean, that was a long run that they had. And I just don't think, I think the Jets are number 2. I mean, the Jets are just really bad. I didn't expect, I thought the Panthers, I didn't think the Panthers were going to make the playoffs, but I thought they would at least go above 8-8.
I completely agree with Burke that the Panthers have been a giant bust this year. I knew that when Norman left that there was going to be something. I mean, when Norman was playing really well, who was the other corner? What's his name? Brox? I don't know how to say his name. He was ranked in the top 20 corners in the NFL. Now he's cut because he was playing so bad with that corner. Their whole team fell apart. My biggest bust, though, has got to be the Houston Texans. They are. I have a thing with the Houston Texans. They have so many choices they can make to make their team good. So many choices, and they throw it away. I think they're not only the stupidest team in the NFL, but they're the biggest bust. Their defense just continues to get exposed by insane offenses. They have great defense.
How dare you say that Texans are the biggest bust in the NFL and they're leading their division as we're sitting here?
The division is awful. And
I mean, their division's bad. They're still leading their division. They still have potential to make the playoffs. The Carolina Panthers will not make the playoffs today.
Either way, the Houston Texans.
Maybe you're right. I'm talking about today. For the sake of today's argument, the Houston Texans are still making. I mean, I agree with you. I think Brock Osweiler. If I have to take a free agency bus, there's one guy I'm taking, and it's Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler's been horrific.
He's
Okay?
interceptions and touchdowns.
Yeah, he's not very good. But as an overall team, the Carolina Panthers, they just don't look good. Their offensive line can't protect Cam. They can't run the ball effectively. Luke Kuechly's having an all right year, but their defense isn't as dominant as they were last year. They're struggling to get to the quarterback from the defensive standpoint. I mean, I don't know what you want to say, but I mean, this team's in a Super Bowl. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that the Texans were in the playoffs. But they were also in the playoffs with a guy named Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't go there before for a reason. They had a guy named Brian Hoyer. Cam Newton was the MVP of last year's season. And Cam Newton today looks like garbage.
But there's a reason he looks garbage. It's because of that O-line.
You can only blame an O-line for certain. I mean, yes,
I think the whole
O-line.
team is falling apart. I agree with you that they probably could be the biggest bust. They were in the Super Bowl and they're playing awfully.
And you said the Texans too.
I do think I put Texans in Carolina on that.
And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Texans still got Kevin Johnson, their cornerback's playing well. They still got Jonathan Joseph, he's playing well on the outside as cornerback too. Their safeties have been decent. Will Fuller has come on as a decent wide receiver. I mean, I just personally think, I think that's a little bit stretched as a team that's leading the AFC South are potentially going to the playoffs can be the biggest bust at the end of the season. I feel like you're just stretching your argument.
The part of my argument isn't like right now. It's going to be kind of confusing, but I think that like we have what 4 or 5 more games left this season. I think that the reason they're going to be the biggest bust is because they're going to lose 4 out of 5 of their games. Yeah, and they're not going to make the playoffs. I think that the Titans are going to win that division.
I agree. I think the Titans are going to win the division. I just don't think. I'm just thinking.
I think that end of the season stretch.
With a record over 500, it's hard to call a team for me a bust. Carolina Panthers, I mean, they just look flat.
My last thing is, what's the Colts record? Are they 4 wins?
They're like
5 wins? I think they're also.
I don't know. For the argument, I think the Titans are going to win the division, but I don't think the Texans is considered a bust. I mean, I think when you sign a kid, when you sign Brock Osweiler, you realize that defense was the reason why.
Do you think losing like the remainder of their games, not making the playoffs, and having a losing season would make them a bust?
But the Carolina Panthers won the Super Bowl last year. Cam Newton was the MVP. Luke Kuechly was nominated for Defensive Player of the Year. Like, I'm telling you, this team looked like a championship team coming into the season, and now they can't even beat the Buccaneers, man. Like,
I agree.
The Bucs are not that good of a team to me. Like, and I'm sorry to rip on my Bucs. Like, fan. I have a bunch of friends that are Bucs fans, but like, I don't see like they have so much talent to me. I thought Calvin Benjamin coming back was going to help them out. I thought Devin Funchess, their second-year wide receiver from Michigan, is going to come back, but they don't. None of the guys I thought the Carolina Panthers were going to the Super Bowl. I said that at the beginning of the year. Carolina, Seattle, in the NFC Championships, and I saw Carolina going back, and they just.
I agree.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's a good talk we had.
Burke.
This is PPSN, we're checking out.
I love how Burke just destroyed